Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I have the trophy model kit from the Ancient Greek Myth series. This is from Masterbox and it's kit number MB24069 and it's in 1 in 24 scale. As stated on the box cover, it comes with 2 figures and a horse. The rear of the box gives you some very basic assembly instructions as well as a painting guide. And there's also a couple of QR codes if anybody wishes to scan them. Right, let's get the box open and see what's inside. And surprise surprise, it's the 2 sprues as described on the back. Well, it looked like everything there that should be there, except one of the legs had tried to do a runner. We'll just get that out of the bag. And there we have everything. Doesn't look like a lot, does it? Since the legs are already separated from the sprue, I'll start cleaning that one up first. There are a lot of mould lines on this kit, so it's going to take quite a bit of cleaning up. There are a variety of techniques used to do this, including cutting, scraping and sanding. And now to remove every item from the sprue and get them cleaned up and laid out ready for the next step. I'm gluing these parts together with plastic cement and I'm starting with the horse. Apart from the vague instructions, the biggest problem with this kit is that there's virtually no alignment pegs or anything, so you do kind of have to guess where the pieces go. Some are more obvious than others, but take the arms for example, they can be rotated to any position you want, which is fine for those wanting to customise the kits, but for those wanting to replicate the box art, it can be a little bit tricky, especially with kits like this which are integrated, where each character's position affects the other one. Anyway, as you can see, there were 2 horses' heads to choose from, one with and one without the reins. I chose the one without, as there are no corresponding parts on the rest of the model. Anyway, as you can see, just about every single part needs applying, such as the hooves, the ears, the tail and so forth, and even the undercarriage, but we'll skip past that one. I'm assembling all 3 figures separately. This is to make life a little bit easier when it comes to painting, then I can assemble them all together at the end. We've already seen the build process with the horse, so we'll rush through the humans and get to the next stage. And as I said before, there's nothing on these models to help with the alignment, so there's a lot of filling in to do. So I use this Tamiya model filler and a wet finger. It takes very little time to dry and can be sanded down afterwards. And again, I do this in all the models until they look like this. So we have the horse, complete with a basic looking leather saddle. This appears to be an optional extra. Next up we have the Greek soldier. Naturally he's in his riding pose. I had the option to put some reins in his right hand, although those don't come with the kit. And lastly, we have his unwilling captive, and unfortunately she's showing quite a bit of flesh. Painting wise, I'm going to stick closely to the box art, so I'm not going to do a full painting tutorial. Generally I start with the lowest areas and build my way up, and I add washes and highlights as I see fit. If I'd have fully assembled this kit by now, painting would have been much more difficult, whereas here I had the freedom to paint every item fully. And thanks to the power of editing, I get through the painting very quickly. And after adding a few finishing touches, here's the completed figures. Each of these pieces are basically interlocking. They need to be loosely assembled before gluing them, and if you don't take your time, this can lead to a lot of cursing. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience. I glued these together off camera and put them to one side to set, and now I can make a start on the base. I cut to size a piece of PVC foam board. Painting a black trim around the edges is usually my final stage, but I'm doing things a little bit topsy-turvy for this project. And for the base layer I dab on some sandy coloured texture, and then I cover the entire surface with some PVA glue. I used a cotton bud to help spread it around evenly. Using the box art for inspiration, I'm going to create a sandy river. So I randomly drop on a few stones, then I use model sand to cover the rest of it. And just to help make sure everything stays in place, I drop on some fixer, and then I leave it overnight to set. For the water effect, I'm going to use some UV resin. I don't need to use a lot as I'm keeping it fairly shallow, just like on the box art. I spread it around and also make some wave patterns. This stuff is fairly thick so it won't run over the edges, and I use a little stick to push it to where it needs to go. Next it's just a matter of putting the horse in its place, and then using a UV torch I set the resin, and this will take a few seconds to harden. Then I also add a second layer, and then for the surface layer I use some Mod Podge, and I dab this all over to like running water. And once that's set and starting to go clear, I then dab over some white paint over the raised areas, and this will help create that foamy water look. Right, that's this ancient Greek myth trophy kit finished. Once again, it's something a little bit different for my collection, although it wasn't the easiest of kits to assemble. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.